Have you realized that some of these people that run away from their responsibility, some of these men and women that abandon their responsibility, have you realized that they don't do well in life? Have you realized that some of these people that abandon their responsibility, God-given responsibility, have you realized that at the end of the day, these people are not even better off? God works in a mysterious way. Have you realized that some of these men and women that abandon the responsibility, especially in the life of their kids, God-given children, some of these people that run away, that abandon the responsibility of taking care of that child that you pleaded to God to give to you, have you realized that at the end of the day, those people are not even better off? A lot of people run away from their responsibility. A lot of people run away from taking care of the children that were on their own. You went and begged God to please bless me with the fruit of the womb. God will bless you with such fruit of the womb. Then at the end of the day, you will either you abandon the child with your husband or your husband abandon with wife. Have you realized that such person that abandoned that child is never doing well? There's nothing so beautiful or unique about you. You are just running around. You're just parabolating. You are not growing. You are not doing anything special. You are just stagnant. You are not special. There's nothing beautiful about you, even though you run away from responsibility. Have you realized that some of these people, God is always angry with them? Why is God angry with them? Because they are not living their potential. The reason God created them in this life, they are not meeting up with it. Because of that, God overlooked them and start to bless that one that is man enough to carry the responsibility. Have you realized that some of these people that are man enough to take up the responsibility, let's say for instance, you married a woman, she left the children for you and run away in the name that I don't want to come and be training these children so that he'll go and be enjoying himself. Have you realized that such a woman, at the end of the day, she's never doing well? She ends up being miserable and depressed. Her life is not even better. The same thing is applicable to a man that run away from his own responsibility. Men's own are even the worst because Bible already condemns such people. Have you realized that any man that is not living up to expectation, that's not taking care of his responsibility, God always wither his hands. He is never progressive in life. Because already from the moment you deviate from the promise you made to God, God overlook you. God automatically place a curse on your head. You will feel that you are doing well, but you are just existing. You are not living. You are not doing well. You will just be parabolating. You just be living your life, but you cannot count what you were able to use. Those monies you did not spend on those your children, you cannot give account of what you use those money for. Number one, you have made yourself a fool before your children. They don't value you because you were not in their life. You are not in their life. Have you realized that some of these people that run away from responsibility are never useful at the end of the day? During their old days, they always buy a miserable buying. Their life is not even better. God works in a mysterious way. I realized that God used to take, when God sees that you are the one in charge, you are the one manning, you are taking up the responsibility, God will transfer all the blessings upon your head. You that decided to carry on the responsibility, God will transfer all the blessings to you that stand gidigba to carry the responsibility. That one that runs away from responsibility, God will take the little things that put food on the table for him and give him the little that he can manage, the little that he can be able to make do with. God will not give him excess because God knows he has no responsibility. God will always transfer those blessings to the person that is manning, that is taking care of the responsibility. This is one big lesson some of you should learn. Man up. Don't run away from your responsibility. God is watching you. Don't run away from responsibility. See these children that sometimes you abandon them on the way. They never begged you to bring them in this life. They never begged you. They were on their own. You went and brought them out. Then when you brought them out, at some point, you will abandon them. I believe that God does not have mercy on any man that abandons his responsibility or any woman that runs away from her responsibility. That is why when you see a woman that has never married before, she's always parabolating. She's always got, there's nothing tangible that she's doing because there is no responsibility. You get nothing. There's nothing you're doing. So God God has already seen that you are just existing. You are not living. He will overlook you. The same thing is applicable to some of these men. Some of these men that have refused to marry too. Such men end up being miserable in life. They did not marry you. They no get responsibility. But at the end of the day, they no fit build a house. They no fit buy motor. They no fit live a good life. They will just be existing. There is nothing to talk or to write home about on their matter. Have you seen why you are not supposed, even if it is hungry you to run away from your responsibility, when you remember your covenant with God, you stand gidibam and tackle that responsibility, because God will multiply your efforts. He will multiply the blessing that fortify that effort that you have put in. If you decide to run away from responsibility, he will not beat you, but he will make you look miserable. I have noticed that some of these people that run away from responsibility are never better. They end up being miserable. Their life is not even better. The person that is carrying the responsibility is always the one that is doing well. That person's life is better. Now it is now clear for me why in the Bible God take from the ones that have small blessing and added to the one that have multiple blessing. Because that thing was like, I was like in wondering in my heart when I read that portion of the Bible where they say they collected from the ones that have small blessing, then added to the one that have. I said, how can God be behaving like this? This person already have enough blessing. You now collected these small ones, now added it up to the one that already have big blessing. Because God knows that person have big responsibility. I pity those that used to run away from their responsibility. Especially in the life of the children you brought into this life. They did not beg you to bring them. You pleaded with God, to God, please bless me, and God bless you. Then you abandon them. God, I believe, does not play with such people. He will make sure that your life ends in shame. This life is mysterious. This life is mysterious. Whenever we're taking our decision, let us remember that there is God in heaven. When you are taking your decision, remember that there is God in heaven. Always remember that. This thing just came to my mind. I said, okay, let me talk about it because I've checked it, I've studied it, I've gone far. In fact, I've checked and balanced it. Even the ones I know, some of my uncles that were never married, they have never had responsibility, all of them, at the end of the day, they will come back, they'll be contributing money to at least stabilize them. You do all those kind of things. But people that are man enough and woman enough to take care of their responsibility are the ones that are still existing and still doing well. God is not a man. No man shall mock God. Man up. Take charge. Don't ever run away from your responsibility. It gets why.